Hello, everyone, and welcome to Equilibrium. I'm your host, Bria, and today I'm so excited to be here with Ashley Sutton. She's the founder and chief fun officer of Hope and Hustle, which is an inspirational greeting card company. Thank you, Ashley, for being here.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to talk to you about Hustle and Hope and all of the fun stuff we've done to date and any other random questions you want to ask me. I'm all ears.
We're gonna get super random here.
Yeah.
So I actually like collect greeting cards. I am obsessed with them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think it's so fun to just look back on like years and years ago from just greeting cards from people.
Yeah, same. I have like a whole bin that I keep. And I mean, this thing has spanned since, my gosh, elementary school, I think. Um,
Oh,
Sometimes like when I was younger, I didn't really realize like you should keep them and collect them, but I definitely like middle school and beyond, like you can tell, like I started to really want to collect memories.
mhm.
And at the time, you would think it was just a piece of paper, but really it was just like at this moment in time, this person, this friend, my mom, my dad said, "You showed up." And here's just like a token of love, a token of appreciation. And it warms my heart.
I get it.
Yeah, I
I
get
love
it.
it. I love it. So you started Hustle and Hope actually when you just quit your job. Is
Yes.
that kind of where the name and
Well,
everything comes from?
yeah. So actually, I hadn't quit my job. I had started a new job.
Mhm.
I just left an old job and I started a new job. And I knew that I wanted to get back into owning my own business. And I was kind of one fall night back when I was living in New York City, I was flipping through one of those Moleskine notebooks.
Mhm.
And we had been given these during our time in entrepreneurship school. Shout out University of Houston Bauer College of Business. And our entrepreneurship professors gifted us these so that we can write down all of our crazy, wild ideas that we wanted to have, no matter how big or how small, and keep them in our back pocket. So they gave us those mini ones. And I remember just kind of like writing down every week some, fun or interesting or just idea that I wanted to start a business. And I was flipping through this notebook and I saw, oh, I want to start a stationery business with greeting cards and stickers and notepads and planners and all of the things. And I was like, man, I did say I wanted to do that. And so I thought about it, and the one product that really sprung out for me in terms of stationery, because stationery casts a wide net,
Mhm.
was the greeting cards. But then I said, no, we're not just going to jump into creating a greeting card company just for product's sake. I really, really was moving with extreme intention, and I wanted to create a product with purpose. And so I thought back to the times when I had lost a job, or I was feeling down, or just needed some encouragement from a friend, or was feeling myself. It was feeling really good, right? Like, and what came with that went beyond the card. It was, when I lost my job, okay, thank you for the card, but how do I like get another job?
Yeah.
I get hired, like how do I answer these interview questions? And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool if, especially for the value conscious purchaser, right? Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could give someone a really like fun, funky greeting card, but then they also got this free gift that could help them with whatever moment, emotion they're going through in that moment. And so I said, let's do this. Let's create the first two-in-one greeting card that had fun designs, but also came with a free downloadable guide. So for example, just gonna grab one of our like little.
Ooh, I love examples.
I love a good example. You can't really see because I have the blur mode on, but
Mhm.
but this is one of our graduation cards, and it says you're on grad behavior. And when you scan the back, the little QR code, you can kind of see
Mhm.
that. Then the graduate that you're giving this to will actually get a free guide on job search help, sample resumes, interview sample questions, and best practices. So it really is going beyond here's a card with some money in it. Here's a card that could potentially get you double, triple what you're thinking of could be in that envelope,
Yeah.
right? Like So yeah, that's really what the purpose was.
I think it's such a good idea
Thank
because,
you.
I mean, again, it's always like, "Thanks for the card." Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I love cards, but it's also like, I need something, like,
yeah,
actionable tips, like, "Help
yeah,
me help myself." That's such a good
yeah.
idea.
There was this meme that was going around, not meme, but it was like a TikTok video that I saw, and this guy was like doing a video with himself, like, "What do you want me to do with this greeting card? Do I save it? Do I like what do I do?" So and it was the funniest thing because that's what you feel like when you're getting a card. It's like, do I keep it? Like, what goes on?
Mhm.
But with this, with Hustle and Hope, like you can keep it. It is the gift that continues to keep on giving. And it's like not going to end up in another trash pile, which my God, we have so many things that like need to
I
be recycled
know.
properly and all of the things. So
I
I'm
know.
just doing my part.
Saving the planet and helping people.
And helping people. Go Captain
Oh
Planet.
my gosh. No, I think the cards are so pretty and they have
Thank
such,
you.
original designs. Do you work with a designer?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
work with tons of designers. I've actually designed a few cards in the line.
Yay,
I'm not
talented.
going to tell you which ones, but I've designed a few of them in the line. But really, my focus is building the business, and so I love to be able to kind of create work and help in with the unemployment crisis, however I can. And so I often employ freelance designers. I work with, on average, about 9 to 10 on the design perspective. And then for content writing, anywhere from 3 to 5 content writers. And it's so funny because in the beginning, my dad, my late dad, he always used to say, keep expenses low. And that we actually created, that was one of the cards in our very first um, collections that we had. And I thought about that and I used to do everything myself. I was writing all the guide content and using all of the tips that I did. So, all of these guides you're getting, this is not some Google search and we put
Hmm.
something together. Like, no, this is actually me going through saying, oh, yeah, I failed that interview. Here's why. Let me put some tips on why I did that. Oh, yeah, this is how I negotiated my last salary. Here's what you need to do that. And so, really kind of like taking those resources on in the very beginning helped me to kind of keep expenses low so that now I'm able to hire tons of freelance designers and content writers. So I'm just excited that the team is growing and you never know what we'll be in a few months.
Ooh, I'm excited. One of the things I wanted to ask was related to the guide. So, you said, are you writing them all yourselves or that's kind of, freelanced out to someone?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
now it's freelanced out. The first 8 I wrote myself,
Mhm.
and then after that, revenue started to pick up a little. I was like, "I have to focus on scaling this business."
Yeah.
So, now I'm more of like the editor in chief where I just kind of oversee, make sure that the content is generally looking good. We've got, the obviously grammar and all of that. We get those edited out house. And then the design, because the guide that you get isn't like some like janky Word doc. Like it's a beautifully put together, designed packet. So getting that over to the designers and all of that. So I kind of oversee everything. But yeah, they write as long as I give them the prompt. So they don't come up with the prompts. Everything from the designs of the cards to the copy on the cards to what goes in the guides comes from me.
Wow. Okay. I want to
Yeah.
know about your background.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Ask me,
So,
ask
so how
away.
did
What do you
you?
want to know?
So, where were you born? And then
Okay.
kind of just how, career trajectory, how did you end up as this amazing CEO?
Yeah, so I was born in Houston, Texas. Shout out to H Town. Hey. And I, grew up modest, we were not rich by any means. We there was one year I remember me and my brother being like, if we see another pot of spaghetti, like I
Mm,
cannot, or beans and rice. Like I was like thrown off from beans and rice for a really long time. But you know what? You realize that your parents are doing the best that they can do, but along the way they're sacrificing so that you can go and be the star that they know that you can be. And so that's exactly what I did. I hunkered down in college. I was by no means like a super stellar A's in all classes, but I wasn't like, some flunky or anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I thrived when it was hands-on types of things. So when I got into entrepreneurship school, I was like, this is my jam. Like I
Big,
can
yeah.
do this. You're talking about application. You're not just talking about some ABC multiple choice test, like theories and all of that. No, 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 no. You tell me a
Mhm.
thing, I'm gonna go do a thing, and that thing gonna get done.
Put
So
it on a card.
put it on a card, that thing gonna get done. So I was just really excited to just kind of like become this entrepreneur, business minded person. But I was also, had to make sure I had some cushion. So I was a dual major. I was an entrepreneurship major as well as a finance major. And that came in handy. Little did
Yeah.
I know in marketing. So obviously, you're not hearing anything about marketing in my degree. Okay, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So my senior year of college, I got like someone sent me this application for Mark, which was Avon's younger brand that they were trying to get like young college women to sell basically Avon,
Mhm.
with their friends and family and all of that. And, Mark was like super fresh. They had a different color palette. It was very like vibrant. And they had this internship program where they selected 12 women, young women across the nation, to go and intern at Avon's offices with the Mark brand.
Ooh.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I've never sold Avon in my entire life. Like, they're not going to choose me. I don't like, my grades are good. I knew I was going to nail that essay. Like, I love a good essay. Like, I was always a student in class. It's like, can we do essay? And people would be
Really?
like, really, guys? Really?
Wow. Yeah.
My
No, I'm
God, I
not.
love to write. I love storytelling. Like, what?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? Anywho, so I got accepted and I was just like blown away. I could not believe that I gotten accepted into this internship program. And it was just this whole world that opened up. And I'm so grateful. And about a week before the internship ended, I then got called into the then executive director's office. And she's like, yeah, I hear you've been looking for a job. We'd love to
Wow.
hire you, as a consultant. And, I was told that they're not hiring, it's a hiring freeze. Mind you, this was 2009. So
Oh,
if
okay.
anybody remembers, like one of the worst recessions until this, most previous one
Mhm.
that this country had seen probably since like the Great Depression. And so I was like, heck yes. I said yes to the dress. I knew like two people in New York. I had no place to live. I had no money. I mean, like true rags to riches type situation.
Mhm.
And so I said, yeah, like I knew where I was gonna live and stay and pay rent and all of the things. And so that's what happened. And I got hired and I was the marketing assistant, and I got to help on all these different things. I managed like a category of over 900 some items. But Avon is really where I got my foundation for learning and understanding how to build a product based brand, how to talk to customers, how to merchandise product, what different price ladders mean, how to negotiate costs, how to work cross functionally with teams like the packaging team that makes the product look great and pop on show, the designers that make the package itself like exciting enough, or the value for the value buyer or for the luxury buyer. Like, really, if you took the time to sit and take it all in as an intern or an assistant, there's so much you can do later on in your life. I always tell people it's not about where you start. And when people introduce themselves and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm just the assistant, I stop them dead in their tracks. You are not just anything, because
Mm.
just the intern got me here.
Yeah.
Just the assistant got me here. And so I then moved to Fisher Price in their international licensing office. It then kind of evolved and they acquired a Hit Entertainment, which owned Thomas the Train and all these different things. I wouldn't have had it any other way, because honestly, I would not be able to launch this business while still having a very, high powered, important, fast moving job if I didn't have these fundamentals under my belt. So from Mattel, I left. I went to Entertainment One, where I was managing at the time. I started off managing Peppa Pig and then PJ Masks. I got to really build out my experiential skills through managing the San Diego Comic Con booth, which I don't know if you've ever heard of San Diego Comic Con or been, but it is quite literally fandom for anybody who likes the worlds of Marvel, DC,
Mhm.
YA, fantasy, all of the things, right?
Yeah.
And here we are with this like 10 by 10 preschool booth. And I get to like create this experience along with my colleague, Allison, for preschoolers, and it was just exciting. And so I took all of these experiences and I was like, you know what? I'm ready for this next step. So then I applied to the marketing director at Penguin Random House at Riverhead Books, and I
Oh.
got the job. And I was so excited. I love books. I love to read. So this was just like such a thrilling opportunity. And I just left. My last day was right on my birthday. It felt so great because I can now focus on using all of these amazing skills and experiences and journeys that I've had, no matter how good or how bad or not so great, it's life, right? You're going to get managers you don't love. You're going to get managers you do love. You're going to get advocates and you're going to get haters. You're going to get all the things. But the important thing is what you do with those experiences. And I decided that I wanted to harness that and leverage it to really build hustle and hope. And so that's where we are right now.
Ashley, how amazing are you? Wow.
Thank you.
I mean, all of the stepping stones and everything you've done is just so impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of your slogans or one of the things that you really focus on, or your mission for Hustle and Hope, is to help people go from finding themselves to creating themselves.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I I have a love-hate relationship with that phrase, you need to go find yourself. It's like, honey, you can find yourself 20 different times in life, like you can find that one day you want to do the dishes and then tomorrow you find yourself not wanting to do the dishes, right?
Mhm.
Today you find yourself wanting to host a podcast. Tomorrow, Brett, you might find yourself wanting to host a podcast network, right? But if you lock yourself into finding yourself thinking that that is the one thing or thinking that that's the one road that you take, you often miss out on all the side streets and
Mm.
the streets that look funny and weird and smoky and foggy and you're like, "Ooh, what's that?" But I dare not go down that road. I mean, don't do that if you're like a woman and riding down a real road by yourself. Please don't do that.
Don't
But
do
I
it.
mean, in
Do it.
theory, right? Like it really is that road less traveled that is the most exciting. And you have the opportunity then to create yourself. You can create. I started as what? An intern. Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm a young Black woman. Okay, we already got woman. Then you add in Black. I mean, my God. And then, and let's be real, ageism is also a thing on both ends. So you being young and fierce and smart and Black in a space that says you should be demure and muted and say yes all the time and never talk back and only do what your managers say and never like use your voice. And here I am like, hey, listen to me.
Complete opposite.
Right? Complete opposite. Like I did that. I didn't find, nobody like handed this to me. I created who I wanted to be. And I think that's what I want to empower for people all over, not just women, everyone, is to really just chart their own territory and create the story that they want to create. Obviously, through truth. We're not trying to have, a moment where you're creating lies about, in your resume or creating stories that aren't true, right? But like I own every single mistake and great thing that I've done and I've used that to create businesses, right? And I'm starting on another business as we speak. We'll talk about that maybe at our next
Ooh,
podcast
exclusive.
interview. Exclusive. But the point is that I've been able to truly create the life that I want for myself. And that does not mean that I have had all of the resources, all of the money, all of the time. to do that. But what I did say is, I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to dedicate time to myself. I'm going to save my money so that the moment that I do decide, you know what, I'm done, I'm out, I'm ready, I can go and do the thing that's been calling me for however long. And then once I'm done with that, I'm not beholden to that. I think a lot of times people are like, I created this thing that means I have to keep running it. And it's
Mhm.
like, but you don't have to. People
Mm,
buy and sell businesses every day. People leave and hand them over to their children or to other folks every day.
that's
If
true.
you've got something else that's feeding you, don't not do it because you started one thing. Like, hold on to all of the things if you want, but you decide. You create that for yourself.
That's a good point. Ashley, where are you learning all these things from?
Life.
Yes.
Yeah, really, honestly, like life, if you dare open your eyes and open your ears, it will teach you things. It will show you things. Um, and don't get me wrong, I have gone through some, whoo, I mean, I had $10 in my pocket when I came to New York. This is not a Cinderella, at the end of the movie story. This is like we in the basement with the little mice running around story, like
Mhm.
it it was humbling. And I think that if you're open to going through that struggle and challenge sometimes, I don't think you always have to go through it, but I think if you are going through it, don't look at it always as a negative thing. And I know that that is hard to do because even in thinking about it right now, I get so emotional. Like, how did I make it through?
Mhm.
How, I mean, there are things that, like, to this day, my family has no idea I went through. Like, and I just sit back and I'm like, you know what? No, ain't no monkey gonna stop this show because if I can make it through, anybody can make it through.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so not funny, but it's funny to think about like, individual journeys and just
Oh,
you see so
yes.
many layoffs and things happening and it's like, how does this person keep going
Yeah.
despite everything stacked against them?
Yeah.
I want to know is there a mantra or something that you live by day to day that keeps you going?
I want to address what you said just a minute ago. Because oftentimes, and I listen to podcasts like that, and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't want to sound like that jerk." Like, "Oh yeah, just rise through it." Like, no, 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 no. Like, feel what you need to feel. We actually have a card in the line called "Feel What You Need to Feel." Like, feel every emotion. If you are angry, if you are sad, if you are like, "I need to talk to someone," I'm depressed. Like, go and get a therapist. There are tons of free therapy options available. I highly recommend it. Talk to someone,
Hmm.
but go through those emotions, like it's okay to feel like you're down, but it's also your right, your privilege, and your honor to then get back on the horse and start riding again. And riding doesn't mean you're winning the Kentucky Derby, right? It just means that you're getting back on the saddle, no matter how slowly you trot along, but you're there, you're present, and slowly but surely you'll pick up that momentum and you'll be riding back on track before you know it. And I think it's just important that we hold space for grieving the loss of either people or places or jobs, right? Like, I think a lot of times people look at job loss and, oh yeah, go get another one. It's like, that's a very personal situation when you have lost your job. No matter if it was a firing or you got laid off or it was restructure, it still hurts.
Hmm.
And we are still human. And so I want people to feel that. And one of the things that keeps me going, to your point about mantras these days, is whether I'm in the gym with my friend Justin, he's like my he's like my pseudo coach now, or I'm like thinking about this business and like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, how are we gonna grow? Is I keep saying to myself, you can do hard things.
Hmm.
And I don't mean that in throw them at me, God. Like I don't mean that. I'm not
Tell me
trying
more.
I don't want to be a part of the warrior group anymore. I
Yeah.
I feel like I have paid
Take
my
it.
dues. Okay,
Yeah.
I paid them. I got a membership. I'm done. I'm
Soft
done.
life only now.
Soft life. I'm living the soft life. But with that said, when hard things do come my way, because they surely will, they will not stop. And I know I joke and I laugh, but I think it's the way in which I handle them now, that is so vastly different than how I would have handled that when I was coming out of school at 21, 22. Um, and it's because wisdom, and there's a difference between being smart and being wise. And being smart is, you're adequate at your job, you can run circles around people, probably you probably have great test scores, you probably did wonderful in class, and we all know those folks, right? But being wise is really allowing life's lessons to move through you so that then you learn a bigger picture, and you have a different lens on the life that you have in front of you, but also the life that you can potentially see for yourself. That's how I look at it.
Ooh, Ashley, I feel like I could just talk to you all day. I mean, be my coach, please.
Well, funny you should say that.
I
One of the
mean,
things that a lot of people are like, "What are you gonna do now? Oh my God, you quit your job, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, simmer down. Like, it's not
mhm,
the end of the world. I've got a business, but I'm also going to be starting up a consulting business where I'm
mhm,
helping folks, who are startups and people who may have an idea but don't know how to streamline it, or they don't have an idea, but I know they've got skill sets that then we can turn into an idea, helping people with presentations. And then I'm going to do some small life business coaching on the side, only taking like quite literally a handful of clients on that front, because it does take a lot of energy out
mhm.
of you, and I only want to give my very best. I'm not one of those like cookie cutter, oh yes, and then you go and you like, no, like you're not going to get that from me. I'm sure you can tell from this interview I am a straight shooter.
I would
Okay.
just like to be one of those clients, please. In the handful there.
Yes, let's talk after for sure. But yeah, I think that's the only way I know how to live. And there was a time where I would just get so down and I would stay there, and my mom, I remember when I, I lost my job, and she's like, "I love you, baby, and I am here for you." She's like, "But you have 24 hours to
Mhm.
sulk." And at first I was offended. I was like, "Excuse me, these are my emotions."
Yeah.
And she's like, "But you are incredible. Do you not
Mhm.
know where you come from? Do you not know the amount of power that you hold in yourself? You can do this. But
Wow.
you get 24 hours to feel bad about this situation because they don't know what they have lost." And sure enough, I picked myself up, I put on my little nice heels, got my dress on, sprayed my perfume, and I was
Yes.
back at it, like
Yeah.
I was back at it. And that's what you have to do. You let somebody, they can knock you down, but they ain't gonna knock you out. And that's it. Like, you're not gonna knock me out. You might feel like you've knocked me out, but I've got greater plans, because I know that with my faith that there is nothing I cannot do. Nothing.
Ashley, we are running out of time, but I want to ask you. I mean, I honestly could talk to you forever, but I want to ask you, what do you want your legacy to be?
Ooh, such a deep
Let's
question.
get to it.
It's so funny because when I talk about hustle and hope, a lot of people ask why, why I started this, blah, blah, blah. And I always say legacy. Um, I've only seen my parents, own their businesses and work and all of the things, but none of them really got a chance to see it through or
Mhm.
thought they could see it through. And so, they ended up going and getting jobs and all of the things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to start by saying there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just not what truly feeds my soul. And I was talking to this, he wouldn't call himself a mentor of mine, but I always call him a mentor. And we had lunch one day at Soho House. He took me there and he's like, Ashley, I find a lot of myself in you. And I don't think that there's going to be any job that is really going to fill your cup like you think it's going to. I feel like you're chasing after all of these accolades and and I don't think that you're chasing them intentionally, but I think that if somebody hands you that next promotion, you're going to take it. And I want you to stop and think about the world where you are the one that is building the business that then somebody else will go and apply for and get promoted and want that same energy. And I was like, oh, wow, that is. And at first I too, even in that, I was like, no, I want a career. I'm not, this is not, I'm not doing any product businesses. I'm not doing a blah, blah, blah. And, and now I'm laughing because he's totally right.
Yeah.
And I need to send him a thank you letter. But this man, I mean, he was a I don't even know, billion-dollar man, and is sitting down with little old me to tell me that. And legacy to me is all about leaving something behind that the next generation, whether it's your children or your neighbor's children or whomever, can say, man, I can do that too. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to then go run that business as she started. Legacy is the tangible, but also the intangible. And that's what I think about when I think about the legacy that I want to leave. I want to leave back behind tangibly, right? The business itself or the businesses themselves, but intangibly, which is quite honestly the most important to me, is this feeling of I can do this. And it does not matter what my skin color looks like. It does not matter what my genitalia is. None of that matters. Only thing that matters is that I show up and I show out. And that's the feeling that I want people to have, is that they too can grasp and grasp and grasp and finally reach the life that they want to live.
Gosh, Ashley.
Of course.
Tell people how they can find your cards and how they can support you.
Yes. Okay, so you can find us online at hustleandhopecards.com. So that's just hustleandhopecards.com. You can find us partying all the time on Instagram at hustleandhope. So just HUSTLEANDHOPE. And then, as of drum roll, please, as of this week, you can find our birthday cards in all World Market stores across the nation. Yes, we are so excited.
I love World Market. I love that for you.
Such cute things, right?
Wow.
And you'll know us by, we have a little yellow sticker in the corner of our cards. So I know it's a ton of greeting cards on that wall, but once you see that yellow sticker in the top right corner, you'll know it's Hustle and Hope. You'll get your card, you'll get your free guide and all of the great things. So yes, please follow Hustle and Hope.
Wow, congrats on that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I have to go now.
Thank you so much.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us in Equilibrium and sharing your inspirational, aspirational, motivational story. I mean, I can talk. We'll talk after. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you everyone for watching. Share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye, guys.